is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all doing well on this Thursday afternoon. Back again, we talked about Lane Johnson clearing concussion protocol, so check that video out from earlier. I will post that down in the comments if you'd like, but I hope you're all having a great day. Finally got all the details from the Robert Quinn trade. So we're going to go over all of that, take a look at his stats, his bio, the new cap details, the Eagles' updated salary cap space, their future draft picks. We're looking at the depth chart, and we're talking about Robert Quinn's scheme fit because there seems to be a lot of confusion about what positions people play in the NFL. So we did our best this offseason, to try to get people on board with this multiple scheme defense. But we're going to talk about all of those things, get into it. If you have any questions, any comments, I would love to hear them. But we're going to get into the nitty gritty here, talking about what Howie Roseman has been able to do with this Eagles roster. Has he filled up the gauntlet? Does he have enough stones? Or will he fill that last one with someone else? So a lot of questions to be had. I'm going to make another show this week talking about some of the trade possibilities in case you guys missed some of that. But a lot of options still available. Eagles still have a ton of cap space, so we're going to get into all that, but let's jump right into this. First off, with some of the roster moves, just in case you missed what was going on yesterday, how we acquired Robert Quinn, who was let go, all that great stuff. So yesterday, Robert Quinn, once we acquired him, we released Teron Jackson to fit Robert Quinn onto the 53-man roster. And then you see Tyree Jackson was actually activated his 21-day practice window. So he's still on IR. So he's not taking up a roster spot. But when he does come back, we will see who we let go. If he makes the roster, what's going to happen there? Look, you could be waived with an injury settlement. All kinds of things could happen there. But I'm thinking this guy is going to get a chance on the active roster. We'll see what the Eagles plan to do there. But he's got 21 days, and they either have to activate him from the IR or he goes back on season-ending IR. So we're hopeful that he's probably somewhere close if they're activating that window. So in case you missed that news, just wanted to throw that out there. But let's get into these trade details now that we know exactly what's going on here. And, yesterday I said, it's a fourth-round pick. We didn't know if it was next year or what, but it is confirmed that it will be a 2023 fourth-round pick for Robert Quinn. So the Eagles, to add to this rotation, that was something that was necessary, and only have to give up a fourth-round pick for a guy that, again, is going to be a rotational piece. He's not going to come in here and be the starter taking up, 70, 80% of these snaps. So this just adds to that rotation, and I love every second of it. So very excited about this. The Eagles only giving up a fourth-round pick. We talked about that. Let's not give up any day two picks, for an edge rusher. And, there was a certain someone for a day one pick I wouldn't have been against, but seems like the asking price was a little high for Brian Burns. So the Eagles went ahead, added a rotational piece. It's not like we necessarily need, it's not that Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham aren't good. So just adding to the rotation, excited to see it. But we did get all of the other details. So I have the updates on the Eagles salary cap, their future draft picks, and the details that you need to know for the trade deadline coming up. So you see here, November 1st is coming upon us, 4 o'clock in a few days here. So we'll see if Howie wants to make another move, but he's got $9,467,839 to work with. So, oh, hell yeah. And then you see the future draft picks here, 2 first-rounders next year still, a second, a third, and 2 sevenths. And then you look at 24, we've got a first, 2 seconds, a third, 2 fourths, a fifth, and a sixth. And then the next year, all of our picks, including an extra 7th from New Orleans. So we've got so much ammo here. And we talked about this last week. We would definitely be trying to add an edge rusher. Would we add to the safety position? Maybe a running back. Maybe we add a return specialist. So you guys know how I feel about guys like Jabril Peppers, maybe a Kareem Hunt. So I'll go through that stuff. Maybe tomorrow we'll try to get into that. Later tonight, I'm going to try to make the top 10 matchups. We'll see if that happens tonight or tomorrow, but stay tuned for that. Let's keep things rolling along here. And let's get to know a little bit about Robert Quinn, just in case you missed any of that stuff from yesterday. And let's take a look at his cap hit here. That is one of the most important things at the bottom. Only $711,000 this year. And we talk about next year being like 14 mil and the year after that 13, maybe vice versa. But either way, Howie Roseman has an out. You can release him. You can restructure him. I do believe that will happen. This dude is not going to cost us that much. So great job, Howie. Literally a dent in the cap space. So he is honestly, not even going to really, affect that salary cap space. You talk about the top 51 guys. So this is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Very beautiful. And I'm very excited, for this guy to be added to the room. His career stats definitely jump off the page. Over 100 sacks there, 109 tackles for loss, 176 quarterbacks for a hit, 20 passes deflected. This dude, he gets his hands up. He gets after the quarterback, and I know that he's 32 years old. But again, when the Eagles added Chris Long and Michael Bennett, that was not an issue, man. You needed to add to that rotation. So that is exactly what the Eagles did there. Now, this year, his stats aren't jumping off the chart. Everybody's freaking out. Oh, my God, he only has 1 sack. Well, first off, we talked about the fact that this dude is double teamed all the time. He plays for the crappy Bears. So maybe I would hate to say that he's not giving it his all, but your team sucks around you. You're getting double teamed. You're put in a position to have to try to step up and win games for your team all the time. So he's going to have quite the different situation here. He's not going to be relied upon. He's probably not even a starter. So I'm really excited about him being added to this room. So let's talk about the Eagles defensive linemen. And there's a lot of confusion of who the linemen are. So let's talk about the guys that are strictly just your edge rushers here, playing defensive end, outside linebacker. You got Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham. Now Robert Quinn, his number will be 98. I saw today. So you've got 3 guys in that rotation that, coming in and out. Brandon Graham can play a little inside. Maybe they'll try Quinn a little bit doing that. I doubt it, but you've got a lot of pieces you can move around. You've seen them do it with Sweat. Maybe that NASCAR package where you've got Quinn, Graham, or Sweat next to each other, and next to them, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Jordan Davis. So a lot of great things. We're going to look at these schemes here in a second, but you see, this really helps us out with Derek Barnett and Janarius Robinson, both on IR. So Teron Jackson being released, Robert Quinn, quite the upgrade. Jackson had his opportunity, and it looks like he fell short. So got another veteran here to add to that rotation. You'd love to see it. Then on the other side is the Sam linebackers. Now I've heard, Robert Quinn's going to drop into coverage. Just that he is not playing Sam linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. That is not going to happen. Now, every once in a blue moon, maybe you see one of the defensive ends drop into coverage. It's not going to happen. It's the Sam linebacker that does that, and I know people get upset about it, but that is their role. So you've got Kyron Johnson, Patrick Johnson backing up Hassan Reddick. I love what we have as a rotation on both sides here at Sam linebacker and on the opposite side, weak side, and your defensive ends, even front. So really a lot of talent there. And then, of course, interior defensive linemen. I love every second of this, dude. Fletcher Cox, Davis, Hargrave, Williams, Tuipulotu, the entire rotation ready to feast. So you guys saw, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but I made that picture of all of them together. Man, they are about to eat some souls, this entire unit. Those 11 guys, or what was it? Yeah, 11 guys I just showed you. 3 as edge rushers, 3 as Sam linebackers, and then, of course, the 5 I just showed you there. Oh, yeah. It's time to feast, ladies and gentlemen. This is definitely something you wanted to see. So let's take a look at all of those guys as it looks on the depth chart here. So you can see kind of how I have it broken up. The defensive end is outside linebackers like we just talked about here. So Sweat, Graham, Quinn, that is the rotation there. Then your D tackles, nose tackles, you've got Hargrave, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Milton Williams, Tuipulotu. That's, you love to see one of the best interior defensive line rotations in the game. And then your Sam linebackers, I am very hopeful for Patrick and Kyron Johnson's future. And, obviously Hassan Reddick leading the way gets me pumped through the roof. So love those additions here. You see the rest of the defense here. This, again, I still feel is going to be a top 3 defense by the end of the year. They're going to continue growing, getting better. Adding to that pass rush was one of those things we talk about doing to ensure that. Maybe a little bit of safety depth, maybe a Jabril Peppers that comes in, helps you at safety. And as a return specialist, that's something, I've been talking about for a couple of weeks. So I think there are moves that could be made, but just adding him, let's take a look at what this does, what Robert Quinn is able to do in this scheme. Now, a lot of people, oh my God, he's so old, this, that. I didn't even have to change the pictures here because he's not even going to be starting. So let's take a look at, first we'll just look at it. And again, you guys know I hate calling it 3-4-5-2. I like saying odd fronts, even fronts, because these guys are moving all over the place. And predominantly you're seeing them in a 5-2 more so. But what I wanted to see here is Robert Quinn can help you as that outside linebacker. Obviously, on the other side, you got your strong side linebackers there. Interior, you can have any mix of those guys. Very excited about that. You could switch Brandon Graham for Hargrave, put Hargrave in place of Jordan Davis. So one of the things we talked about this offseason was the interchangeability of these players. So you love to see that. But the 5-2, something we've talked about a lot. this front, it's going to dominate people. And, you talk about Brandon Graham, again, being able to play all kinds of different techniques, from 3 to 9, and he can do it all. You love to see that, but he doesn't even need to. Look at this depth here. And then Robert Quinn, obviously he can play defensive end here in this odd front. So this dude is going to be standing up, putting his hand in the dirt. So maybe once in a blue moon, he has a coverage kind of thing, but he's going to be on the weak side, not really where the tight end is. So not much coverage there. I've seen a lot of confusion. Now, the package we talk about all the time, my favorite, the penny package, 5-1. You're looking at, nickel here because you've got 5 defensive backs, but you've got 1 linebacker, whether it's Edwards, Kaiser White, and then those linemen. Oh, my God. So you can have Sweat out there. You can have Brandon Graham, Reddick, Robert Quinn. You could, switch Robert Quinn in for Fletcher Cox, put Cox in for Jordan Davis, put Brandon Graham in for Javon Hargrave, have yourself a NASCAR package. I mean, oh my God, this defense, look at that. Just look at that. It gets me quite excited, not going to lie to you. And then you look at these even fronts, because the Eagles do play even fronts. Obviously, defensive end, Robert Quinn can back up any side, doesn't matter. Josh Sweat the same. You've got Reddick down there in the dirt. Then you've got all these linebackers. I mean, whatever scheme, the interchangeability of these guys is key, man. Guys putting their hands in the dirt, whatever, man. I try to stress this all offseason, how exciting this was going to be. And adding these pieces just gets you more excited. But the nickel, that's what you'll see more with the even fronts. A lot of Avonte Maddox, but these front 4 guys need to start creating pressure. So having a rotation there, that is going to be great. Very, very excited about this defense, ladies and gentlemen, as I've been. But this just adds to the excitement. So let's go, Howie. Keep making those moves. Love to see it. My man, we can definitely make moves. We have lots of space, and I will definitely be making another video. Appreciate you commenting on those other ones, my man. And I'm not sure if you watched that trade special one I did last week, but we talked about Robert Quinn. We talked about my top options at the positions I felt the Eagles need. I'm going to go through. I'm going to give you a top 3 at where I still feel the Eagles could address. There's a lot of graphics I made. I can recycle some of those, maybe add some players, whatever. But we're going to talk about that stuff. I appreciate you, my man. Glad you enjoyed all that information. NASCAR package indeed, baby. And we talk about, what Jonathan Gannon's mindset is with this, defense. And you talk about creating pressure without having to blitz. And people are like, I just want to blitz. And it's like, look, I get it, man. I want to get to the quarterback too. But I also want to be able to do it without having to give up guys in the secondary. So we're talking about versatile players that, allow us that, okay, maybe they add another receiver or a tight end, running back, whatever. So we need an extra linebacker. A guy that's already in there can just switch to a different position. It's a beautiful thing to have. So I love that every single second of it. What is going on, my man Marcus in the building? Talking a little bit about the details of the trade, getting everyone up to date with what is going on. Yes, that is the Eagles defense. There's a lot of rumors on Kamara, Hunt. We talked about those the other day. And as I just mentioned, I will make another show for you guys. What happened to Trey Sermon? Nothing. He is still on the roster there, but we will continue to talk about, as I talked about the other day, for anyone that did miss it, we talked about the positions I felt the Eagles need. People want to talk about running back. I don't feel that that's necessary, but if you want to add someone to it, again, in 2017, we added another running back where I didn't feel it was necessary. I'm all about it. Run that damn ball, okay? If it's a good price, whatever. But I'll go through that again. We'll talk about it. But go check that video out. I'll try to make another one here tomorrow or Saturday. But then after that, man, you talk about a return man, a safety. That is something I thought maybe Jabril Pepper, someone like that. That is more where my mind is. And then you're looking at edge rusher. We already got one. So that was my top priority. We already took out that one. So I'll go through and then I'll just talk about the safeties, the running backs. And I know people want to talk about wide receivers. I added them into the return specialist because I didn't really think we were going after a top receiver. I just don't think we need that right now. We need somebody that can help us in the return game. But what we really need is the guys in the return game to block for our returners. That would really help us see what Britton Covey has. But I think someone like Jabril Peppers helps you as safety, and he brings you that kick returner ability, allow Covey to handle the punt returns. And that's just something that was on my mind. But we'll get into that later. But I hope you enjoyed all this information on Robert Quinn, this Eagles defense, his scheme fit, the updated salary cap, the draft picks, all of that stuff. But if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to ask down below. You're always welcome to rewatch it, comment, and I will definitely get back to you. Always down to talk some birds. But I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time on this Thursday. I'm going to try. I got a lot of stuff to do today, but I'm going to try to get that top matchups show in tonight. So stay tuned for that. And then tomorrow, hoping to have a guest. If not, it'll be Fan Friday. We'll see what's going on, but I'll keep you up to date with everything. But appreciate each and every one of you. Again, if you need anything, whether it's talk about life, football, whatever it is, seriously, do not hesitate to reach out. I appreciate each and every one of you being here for me, so I always want to be there for you. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today, but I will be hopefully back later tonight with those top matchups to watch for the Eagles-Steelers. Week 8, let's go! But have yourselves a great rest of the evening, and until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You stay safe out there, and as always, go Birds!